Welcome to this episode of Executive Encore. Hello to everyone who's joined us. This is where we share wisdom for women remastering their lives and work through the various transitions from 40 to 60, 70, and beyond. So, the highlight today's focus is on the importance of that healthy mindset in getting past the stories that we tell ourselves that hold us back. Today, we're thrilled to welcome an inspiring guest, Naima Spencer. She is a speaker, a mindset coach, and a co author of Rise Above with the legendary Les Brown. But I'd also say that Naima's legendary as well. I've known her for a couple of years, so I know she's legendary.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Naima specializes in helping professionals overcome stress, overwhelm, and self doubt to unlock their full potential. Her work has been featured in Thrive Global, Medium, and top podcasts all over the internet. And today, of course, she is going to be sharing her invaluable insights with us. Naima's story is one of perseverance, growth, and empowerment, and we can't wait to learn more. So, Naima, I'm so happy to have you today. And could you please tell us a little more about what an inspiring career transition that you had when you transitioned from one career to this career?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Patricia. It was quite an interesting journey. As you know, I am originally from Morocco, moved to the States 27 years ago, spent 8 years just working mediocre jobs, because we're going to get into it. I did not believe in my ability to do something better, unfortunately. And once I got the courage to go back to school, because that was one of my major goals, is to go back to school and have an MBA. Once I did that, things began to change. I started my career in a pharmaceutical industry. And then in 2009, I moved to the Washington, D.C. area. I worked for DoD for about 4 years. Then I became a CIA officer for 13 years. And I went from that to now becoming a mindset coach. I believe that everything that I've been through contributed to this moment, to where I am today. And all of that helped me to gain the clarity that I needed to figure out what I really want and what I believe my purpose is. So here I am. This is what I do now. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear this story quite often where someone will make a very drastic career change, but they realize that everything that they've done up to that point has really brought them to where they are. That there might be a missing key, and possibly that missing key is the mindset. Like you said, once it clicked with your mindset that you were able to do better, you built up your, I would say, your self development muscles when you were studying for your MBA, and that just opened the door for you, right, to explore more that you could do.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, mindset is key, and for me, I'm a living proof of that.
Mhm.
It took me 8 years to even believe that I could go back to school. And when I did, because I came up with all kind of excuses and reasons. I mean, at the time, they didn't feel like excuses. They were good reasons, valid reasons that I couldn't go back to school. I was telling myself my English was not good. I can't go back to school because I don't have the money to pay for classes. How am I going to go back to school and support myself at the same time? It's impossible. And when after 8 years, when I actually decided and I went back to school, nothing had changed in my situation except for my mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why I truly believe that mindset is key to everything that we do in life, to our success, to reaching our full potential, to living our purpose. It starts with mindset. I'm not discounting strategies. I'm not discounting, taking action, all the things that we do, but the mindset shift has it comes first.
Mm-hmm. So, why do we often underestimate the power of our thoughts when it comes to overcoming challenges or going on to the next transition? Why do you think we do that?
We do that because many of us are focused on action. Every time we think about a goal, the first thing we think about is, what can I do? What action do I need to take? What strategy do I need to follow to achieve my goal? And we discount the measure, the most important part, which is, well, how do I feel right now? How do I think about that purpose or that goal that I want, the result that I want to achieve? How do I feel about that? What
Mm,
am I thinking right now about that? Do I think that I really believe that I can achieve that? Or
mhm,
do I believe that no, I should be doing something else, or this is not the right time? Like, we just jump into action where everybody is thirsty for strategies. We're all looking for, like, what is the strategy that's going to get me there? But we don't stop for a second to think, okay, how do I feel about the whole thing?
mhm,
Because we need to operate from a powerful state. Because, as you know, there are only two states of being. There's a primal state of being and there's a powerful state of being. When we're in a primal state of being, like when we're frustrated and angry and anxious and depressed, we are in survival mode. All of our energy is in survival. That's
mhm,
not the time to create. That's not the time to have ideas. That's not the time to act on your purpose, to act on your dreams. Your entire energy is focused on survival. But when
mhm,
you are in a powerful state of being, when you are in gratitude, in joy, and that's you're operating from the parasympathetic expression of the nervous system. You're in rest. You're in you're basically connected. You're aligned. And that's the state we need to operate from. Whatever strategy you're going to follow, if you don't believe that that strategy is going to work for you, it won't work. And
mhm.
that's the reason why you see people doing the same thing, but each one of them is getting different results. It's because of the mindset.
And so the differences between people are some people may be in action and they have learned that that is the way we're supposed to be, is in action all the time. However, I think this comes to that point about they might be in action that's not taking them in the right place because they have not to the right place because they have not spent the time on their mindset and their feelings to determine, do I have the power in my mindset to reach this particular goal? And therefore, here's the actions I'm going to take. Is that
Well,
what
the
you're saying?
actions, yes, well, the actions, the right action will come to you if you are in a relaxation state, if you are operating from a powerful state. That's when you're aligned, that's when you're connected to a higher power, whatever your higher power is. But you have to be in that aligned place for you to be able to have the ideas, to think about the strategies, to think about the next steps that you want to take. Because when you're not operating from a powerful state, you're in survival.
Mm-hmm,
That's not the time for you to have ideas, to be creative, to be connected to the higher power.
mm-hmm,
It's truly important. To action is important, of course. You're not going to achieve anything if you don't take action. But you just want to take that action from a powerful state of being, not from anger and anxiety and depression and frustration.
mm. Or from
And
a depleted energy state, right? If you don't have the
exactly,
energy, yeah. Hmm.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
about developing that the power of that mindset. So you often say that your circumstances aren't keeping you stuck. Your mindset is. How does that relate to what you've just said? Can you unpack that a bit more for us?
So let's first define, just in a simple version, what mindset is. So mindset basically is the set of beliefs that shape how you see the world and shape how you see yourself. So that's your mindset drives your behavior, it drives your decisions, and it drives the outcomes that you get in life.
Hmm.
So, just to give you, go back to my own example and in my own life, when I thought that everything is around me is what's keeping me from achieving my goals,
Hmm.
it's like you're giving your power away. When you think that someone else or something else has the power over you, then you feel paralyzed. There is no need to even take action because it's not up to me. It's up to all these things that surround me. So you're not going to take action. And even if you try to take action, it's not going to come from a powerful state. You're not going to believe in it. If you believe that everyone else and everything else around you is controlling the outcome, and you look at your environment and you go, well, that thing is not working out and this thing is not working out, so there's nothing I can do. Basically, let me just stay small where I am right now because there is nothing I can do to change my situation. But
Mhm.
when you reverse that, and when you start taking your power away, and you know that if all you need to do is to really just make a decision, and you just need to figure out that you have the power to change the outcome when you start changing your thoughts, when you start seeing yourself in a different way, when you start thinking that life is working out for you, not against you.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, when you develop those beliefs and when you think that you show up in life as that powerful being that you're supposed to be, then things work out for you. It's not
Mhm.
about the environment. If I come into, I want to take action and I'm completely defeated, feeling defeated and thinking that, well, I mean, it's not going to work out and nothing works out for me. And I mean, no matter what I do, nothing works out. I mean, what's the use? Well, let me try. If you approach your goal with this attitude, what outcome do you think you're gonna have? Not, you're really not gonna hit the goal that you want because
Mhm.
you're already coming defeated to it. You don't think that you're powerful. You don't think that you can do something. It's all out there. Everything else out there has power over you. But
Mhm.
if you just believe that all you need to do is just take that first action, take that first step. It's not about the goal out there because when we look at the goal, it seems too big. And like they say, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when we focus on that goal, we don't know what to do. All I
Mm.
was focusing on, for example, was how can I change my life? I just need to start this, professional job and improve my life and start making good money and all of that. Well, that seems too big. But when I decided, okay, what is the smallest action I can take today to just start moving toward that life that I want? just
Mhm.
just to start shifting toward that goal. And I realized that the first action I needed to take was to just fill out an application to apply for the MBA program. It was as small as that, but that took a lot of courage because I had to work on my beliefs to actually take that action, as small as it is. Some
Mm.
people can get really excited filling out applications to go back to school. For me, I was terrified
Mhm.
because I was thinking about the worst case scenario,
Mhm. Mhm.
But taking that small action is actually what started the entire shift in my life.
Mhm. Did you do that shift on your own, Naima? I, is it something that, people listening today, it sounds great. All I need to do is that one step. And I talk to my clients as well about, well, what is your very next step? Not the step that's going to get you the degree, but what's the very next step? But is it easy to make that switch, especially when you are already in the belief that everything around me is just against me? Or um, my favorite one actually is it's just so hard. Say to myself, in the past, this is just so hard. So, how would one person make that big shift? Because it is a big shift. I know it's one
It
step,
is.
but it is a big shift.
It is.
Where can they go for help?
So for me, it was working on my mindset. I discovered the field of personal growth, personal development, and self help, and all of that. It literally in 2003. And I started reading books. I started going to seminars. I didn't have money at the time to have a coach or anybody like that. So I was doing most of the work myself and just talking to people and going to seminars and learning. And I was really putting in the work. Like I wasn't just learning because knowledge without execution is useless. So I
Mhm.
wasn't just learning, but I was applying everything that I was learning because I knew I needed to do something about my mindset. I
Mhm.
knew I needed to change my thinking. Like I started to develop that awareness and I realized that my entire thinking was just really negative.
Mhm.
Everything I was thinking when I catch myself was negative, always imagining the worst case scenario. So I had to build that awareness to catch myself and change that and begin the process of rewiring my brain basically so I can install good, powerful, thoughts and
Yeah.
connections in my brain. So it begins with that. You have to do the work. You have to surround yourself with people who uplift you,
Yeah.
and once you start, there are two folds to this. So once you start, things begin to happen, and the steps will begin to just show themselves and reveal themselves to you. But the other thing, one important thing that actually led me to make that shift, and I'm gonna borrow Tony Robbins' quote here to really express how it was for me when he said, "When the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change, then you take action." And that's exactly what happened. So,
Mhm.
but what I want to say for the people listening, you don't have to wait until you hit that your threshold for the pain. You can do something, you can take action, change before you have to. It's one of my favorite quotes, change before you have to. But for me, I waited until I really had to because I just mentally and physically it became very painful and I was exhausted, so something needed to change, and that's what really helped me with everything else to take that action and to start that change of in my life. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. So I'm glad that you unpacked that a little more because I know a lot of people say, "Oh, all you have to do is change your mindset," but it is not that easy when you've got decades of certain things in your mind that are directing you to be frustrated,
Mhm.
or something will happen and it will just reinforce that, yes, that's the way it is for me. um, so it's an awareness that it doesn't have to be that way. And it's a willingness to do the work. Like you said, it's not a snap of the finger to change your mindset. You got to do the work. So the key points that I'd like to highlight today, and my takeaway, like the highlights first, are start small, identify, here's something, identify the mind triggers that lead you to stress, or there was something that you said about where we go when our mindset is not, frustration. Okay, so what frustrates us, what gives us self-doubt, and then the other little small things that we can have is small daily habits. And this is where I think is really important. When you have small habits that are doable and you are doing them each day, you can come away with a really good feeling about yourself, that it reflects who you are and it aligns your actions, but also you trust yourself because you have set this goal of these daily habits, you are doing them, and so you can trust yourself to set these other goals and work towards them. And my takeaway is that breaking the habit of thinking that our circumstances drive our reality. Yes, there's a lot of things going on around us, but it's not necessarily my reality that is affected by everything that's going on. We all have to live within certain
Mhm.
guidelines, I guess, in society, but not to allow those things to really drive my reality and really get frustrated. And by focusing on mind shifts, and would this be true? Like just little mind shifts at a time are good for transformation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because if you think the moment you start focusing on the big goal, the result that you want to achieve, you fall into how? How can I possibly do that? And, we call it the tyranny of how. And the moment, because when you ask your brain about something that you've never done, your brain has no record to give you the answer.
Yeah.
So when you ask how, and it's something you've never done before, it's blank. You don't know. And you just go, well, I don't know how to do that,
Mm-hmm.
because your brain has nothing to give you. Your brain is just a record of all, it's a database of all the experiences that we had.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to avoid the how question because you don't know and it's just going to keep you stuck. And
Yeah.
instead, what can I do right now? What is the a small step that I can take today?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, and then the next one. You do the first one and then the next one and then the next one. And then you just focus and celebrate your achievement every day, no matter how small it is, because that's what's going to keep you moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And just be patient also, be patient with, and have some grace and for yourself, and be patient with the results that you're getting.
Yeah.
It took years to build those, neural networks connections in your brain. So it's going to take some time to deactivate all those old limiting beliefs and install new ones. So
Mm-hmm.
just be patient also.
Mm-hmm. So, Naima, like you to perhaps present a call to action. And in doing that, I'd like you to talk a little bit about the book that you co authored with Les Brown, and that's Rise Above. Um, could you encourage people to check it out with a call to action, or do you have another call to action?
So I have a couple of things. One thing I want to leave your audience with is don't believe everything you think. These are just thoughts. Question those thoughts, challenge them. Not everything that happens in the mind is true. And all you have to do is just question the thought before you take action. Is it true?
Mhm.
And one thing I truly live by is that I question my thinking every day, especially when it's negative thinking. I have to question it. Is it really true? Or is this just something that's happening within me right now to keep me where I am so I don't take action, because the brain is all about survival to keeping
Yeah,
you safe?
yeah.
Am I just acting this way because I need to stay right here so I can be safe?
Mhm, mhm.
So yeah, just question your thoughts really every day, all day. Build a habit of doing that.
Yeah,
And the other part about the book, I really invite you to check out my new book. It's called Rise Above, and it's co-authored with the legendary Les Brown. It is honestly filled with powerful stories and strategies that will help you break through limitations and step into your full potential. So please
mhm.
check it out.
That's good. So, is it helpful in a way that when we see other people rise above, that we then begin to trust that we can rise above as well? Is that what that
Absolutely.
is?
Because that's a very good point. This is something that we use in a tool that I teach my clients, which is the decision matrix, how to use decisions. And one of the things we have to do is to come up with proof to give ourselves that we can achieve that. What evidence do I have that I can do it? And we always say that when I don't have that evidence in my own life, I can borrow it from someone else's life, because if it's possible for them, it's possible for me.
I
It's
like that.
possible for
I
me.
like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to direct our listeners today to your social media. It's in the ticker below that it's going nice and slow so that you can write it down if you want to. And the website will be in the show notes along with other information. The link to the book will be in the show notes. And to connect with Naima, explore all her resources for mindset coaching, and visit her website, and you'll get more information there. Um, Naima does have a offer of coaching for, I think it's 30 minutes. Is that correct, Naima?
It's 45 minutes.
Okay, that's for okay. The 45 minutes is for people who are members of the Executive Encore. So if you're not a member of Executive Encore, you'll see in the show notes that you can sign up to be a member. Okay, on Naima's website, I think it is 30 minutes, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is that?
Yes, it is.
I
But
just picked it
for
this
your audience, it's
morning.
45 minutes.
Thank you very much, because the Executive Encore membership are very special people, and I want to make sure that they get a very special offer along with other podcast guests as well. Naima, these conversations about healthy mindset and creating the reality that we all desire is so important and inspiring. It's so important for every transition that we have in life, even those women who are remastering their life now in their 60s after corporate and in their 70s and beyond. Um, Before we wrap up, thank you very much, Naima, to everyone listening. If today's episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend, a colleague, and another high achieving woman who believes that her mindset is important for remastering her life and work and creating the reality that she desires. So she might not have it right now, but she can borrow from someone else to get inspiration. I just love that. This video podcast is produced by Maestro Quality as part of the Executive Encore program and hosted by myself, Patricia Muir. Please subscribe to the Executive Encore on YouTube, on Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts for more insightful conversations with inspiration for transformation. Please add your comments to the channel. Naima and I will be checking the YouTube channel for any comments that you put in there. Well, so please leave us a review and share the episode with other women in your network. If you subscribe to the Sunday Encore newsletter, you will read more about Naima, who will be featured in the weekly blog this week and the newsletter published this Sunday, May 25th. When you subscribe, you will receive access to those resources and the offers from other podcast guests as well. Please visit my website at patriciamuir.com. Very easy. Read my weekly blog, follow me on LinkedIn, and subscribe to YouTube. This is where your Executive Encore begins. This is where you start to live, work, lead differently with a healthy mindset and self-trust. So until next time, take care of yourself, do what's best for you, and don't jeopardize what you've built for yourself. Bye-bye.